Thank you for watching Healthy Power TV with Dr. Josefina, and I'm Laura Guttridge. Today's topic, we're talking about how to achieve a higher self-esteem, and in the lesson you talk about the 5-step process.
Yes.
And it's something that you really don't ever think about. You think either you have high self-esteem or you don't. Mm-hmm. And it's not something that you think that you can actually practice and work on. But I think it's very important because most children growing up, I think you talk about how we learn these behaviors as we start off as children, and it's a continued behavior that is learned even through adulthood.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, I think most children end up having some sort of low self-esteem.
Yes.
So with this 5-step process, it can actually reverse even a very deep low self-esteem that someone may have or harbor, and change it for positive.
Definitely. And it starts by changing your thinking.
Yes.
So one of the techniques that I use is the person has to, once you start changing your thinking, you start changing your behavior, and it's based in cognitive therapy. That it's just based on that. By we making the choice to change the thinking or my thinking, then I can improve my behavior. I can change my behavior.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, it's very important because, not only will a low self-esteem just make you feel kind of miserable about yourself, but it actually affects every facet of your life.
Exactly.
From how you interact with your family, your friends, how far you make it in your job, your career, school. I mean, there's so much.
Exactly. So it's very important that we cultivate, and especially parents, allow their children to develop their self-esteem in a positive way. Because sometimes people don't have an idea of the impact of when you say something to a person or a child, even as an adult. If the adult is constantly criticizing, it's maybe, let's say, to a person that is constantly putting him or her down, of course the person ends up believing something about themselves that is not true. It's somebody else's opinion. So that's why every person has to have the responsibility to really think about what they are as an individual, as a person, their values, their principles, their belief system, and definitely not allow other people to tell them that it's the opposite, especially when it's in the negative way.
Right, and that's, the first step would be identifying these troubling conditions and situations. And the example you used about the husband constantly putting down his spouse, that would be one of the conditions to identify.
Exactly.
Because before we can do anything about it, we have to identify it.
You have to identify the situation that makes you feel that you're not good enough. That you go into that situation and you feel, I don't really want to do that job, or I don't want to go to the office, or I don't want to see that person, I don't want to do that. Why? Because that situation makes you feel unworthy. Right.
And then after identifying these situations, you have to then identify how it is that you react to these things.
Yes.
Because we can't control how other people treat us, but we can control how we react to that treatment.
Exactly.
So, although we won't be able to, we may not be able to change a spouse or someone in the workplace who's causing you to have low self-esteem.
Yes.
We can react differently, and sometimes reacting differently could also cause them to start treating you differently, because if they think they're hurting you and making you have a low self-esteem, a bully's going to keep doing that.
Exactly.
But if you start standing up for yourself, they may just stop doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's basically the second step. And then the third one, pinpoint negative and wrong thinking. It's kind of the same thing, but it's just more directing to, this is what's happening, I have to do something to change it. So, physical.
Yes.
Yes. Getting back on track here. Not only, does it affect us mentally, but physically.
Exactly.
Like a lack of sleep. You mentioned overeating. I have a girlfriend, when she is feeling down in the dumps, she doesn't eat anything. And she is practically wasting away. I'm serious. She weighs under 100 pounds.
And that's because?
She gets stressed out. Her self-esteem starts to go. She loses her appetite. She doesn't want to sleep.
Yeah.
And has to medicate to fall asleep. So having a poor view of yourself, not only does that affect you mentally, also it starts to affect you physically.
Exactly. You have different responses, like like you were saying, physical response, emotional response, and the behavioral response, like like you were saying with your friend, eating too much and she's not hungry, or hiding from situations, feeling that if I move in that direction that I'm going to fail, that sense of failure, that sense of fear, that sense of guilty, or blaming other people for whatever situation we find ourselves.
But even beating her own self up, blaming herself, just just thinking that, but she needs to, like, the fourth step here, challenge the negative or inaccurate thinking.
Absolutely.
You have to combat it, because it will take over you if you let it.
Absolutely. And that's why you have to tell your friends, you have to tell people to watch the show.
Yes.
Because here you learn techniques and how you can improve your self-esteem, which is going to be affecting all areas in your life, including your health and the responses that you have towards yourself and life in general.
Right.
So it's very powerful. It's incredible.
Yes, because we all have achievements in our life. Even people who have the lowest self-esteem, they've achieved some success.
Absolutely.
For the most part.
Yeah.
But they don't want to give themselves credit for that.
Exactly. And you make a great point, because everybody has good self-esteem and low self-esteem. It's different areas in life in which we have the levels of self-esteem changes according to the different areas in our life.
Yes.
In some areas we might feel powerful, strong, terrific, and in other areas we feel, I need work on this part. So that the part of the personal responsibility is looking at yourself, analyzing where your weakest link, and then take the responsibility to work on those things.
Yes.
And that's what makes your life really exciting, and that builds your self-esteem in every area of your life, like you were saying earlier.
Yep.
It's very powerful and it's very important, because the success we achieve in life is based on how good I feel about myself.
Absolutely.
So if I'm going for a job interview and I'm not feeling confident, they're not going to give you the job.
That's right.
They're going to give it to the person who radiate that energy, that sense of confidence. I can do the job. Even if I don't have all these skills, but that sense of enthusiasm and confidence said to the person, wow, I want this one working for me.
That's right.
It's phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah,
a lot of times
work
it's
on
not
it.
all about the resume, it's about how you present yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything else?
Well, just replace the negative with the positive.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes, Laura, it's difficult for people, like I was saying in the lesson, because we are so used to think negative that I don't recognize that this is a negative thought. This is nothing, this thought is not going to take me in the direction that I want. And sometimes people even argue. If you're talking to your husband and you're talking to a friend or somebody who knows you, they start arguing with you. No, but it's not negative. But sometimes, because we are so familiar with that type of thinking, it takes a little while for us to recognize this is not a thought that is taking me in the direction that I want to go.
Right.
So, that comes in that part is that self-integrity, being honest with yourself, be truthful to yourself. Look at the thought with, does it have a value in it? Because if you feel, oh, Josefina is mad at me. But no, it's just that I'm being busy. So immediately the person assume that I'm mad at you, vice versa,
Right.
So it's just a little bit of self-analysis, and take a look at yourself and do the job like she does.
Put that in perspective.
No, but we like to invite our friends, our viewers, right?
Yes.
To watch the show every single week. Every single week we'll have very interesting subjects, and if you have an idea, things that you like us to talk about in the show, please email us, send your requests, and we will be very, very happy to research it for you, to help you. Remember, in Healthy Power TV, we want you to feel healthy, powered, terrific, awesome. We are here to help you, correct?
Correct.
So, tune in every single week, because we love you and you love us, right? Yes.
Stay better.